Hi, Leah.
Hi, Kamna. I don't even know
So
where to
this is
begin.
this has been a short week for us. We just
It's been
turned it
a
around real quick.
short week, and I think it's going to be a long week in the same time.
Okay, what does that mean?
Like, I feel like it was forever since I made my call to action, but
Hmm.
I did it. So I don't know why, but we'll get into that in a minute. But
Oh,
this topic that we're talking about today kind of made me a little sad. I'm not going
it
to
made you
lie.
sad?
It did make me sad. So we're
What
talking
did it?
about false labels. And the first statistic I read said that within 20 minutes of walking into a high school building, each high schooler is labeled. And I have a high schooler going starting next week. So it made me so
Oh,
sad
it
immediately.
it hit you in your soft spot.
It hit me. So this topic was like, oh, I'm dropping stuff. Sorry. This topic was a tough one after I read that.
Yeah, I get it.
Hmm.
Yeah. When it like pokes at you with your children or people that you really love, then it hurts you a little bit more.
Hmm.
Hopefully it won't be too dark and depressing
I
today.
hope so. I will make it fun. But
We'll make it
so
fun, yeah.
tell us about your call to action.
It was a two-parter for me. They weren't connected. I have not turned my desk around.
I was, thank God you said that because I was literally going, wait, wasn't she supposed to turn her desk around?
Yes,
By the
I
way,
still want to do it.
I don't know if everybody knows this. We're on YouTube. So if
Yes.
they want to see what crazy nothing is going on in our backgrounds, they can go to YouTube at Health Coach Kamna. Just search you. I did it by the way this week. I searched Health Coach Kamna in the search bar and all of our episodes were up there.
Yeah, except for the last one, but I'll get that up.
And
Um,
yeah, so now we
yeah,
have to start looking a little bit nicer so on these.
I am what I am.
I
I'm
know.
not working
I
too
know.
hard.
I know. So
But
anyway, sorry.
I did not turn my desk around and it's still on my to-do list because I am waiting for my husband.
You're
And
still waiting.
I know I shouldn't be waiting, but I just need to like schedule it in and maybe I clear everything out so that it's easy to turn around so they don't have to have the discussion of the whole thing,
Okay,
like why
so
do you have this stuff here and why can't you
well,
move this? And
this is my question. I'm going to poke you. What's stopping you from cleaning your desk and getting it all ready and then saying, "Can you come and help me?"
it seems like a Herculean task. It seems
Okay.
I remember doing this in the basement. Like I just wanted to move things around in one of the bedrooms. So I emptied a bookshelf and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to move this, but I did it myself and I was very proud of myself. And like I moved some furniture around down there and I was shocked that I could do it by myself. I could try and I could go slow and maybe I buy some of those furniture pads where you can glide your furniture. You know what I'm
I'm
talking about?
I 100% know what you're talking about, but I also 100% believe that you could turn this desk all by yourself.
I think so too.
I really
And
do, and
then
I'm trying to figure out why you won't try.
no, I will. I just need to put it on my calendar. Does
Okay.
that make sense? Like I am like, oh, this happened and this came up and I was supposed to do this and then it gets pushed to the bottom of the list.
And you keep wait, but you keep saying you're waiting for your husband when you probably don't need him in that. I mean, I don't mean that that came out wrong, but
No,
you
I know what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah. The second part of it, which I was successful at, was getting back on track with my eating and my just activity and everything. And that has been fantastic. I feel so good. I I just getting back on track. The first day is kind of hard, because when you've been eating and drinking whatever you want, the first day
Hmm.
you're like, oh, I could eat some more candy and I could eat some brownies but then you like get back on track and then you feel so much better.
It's so
So
true. Your body almost, well, your body like craves it and missed it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
I roasted two trays of vegetables and I used it partly for a salad. And today I made myself some soft tacos with the vegetables. Delicious. I mean, and
I
it's so filling.
saw your picture on your stories and I was like, and you put like walnuts in it, and I would have never combined that. So I thought it was such a great picture.
It was so good. And I think that's part of the thing is eating well doesn't mean you have to be deprived.
Mhm.
it's a whole physical experience. Like it was visually beautiful and it was
Mhm.
smelling great. And
What
it was
seasonings
just,
do you put when you roast your vegetables?
I just put in salt and olive
Oh,
oil.
that's it.
And then I added to my salad, I added some everything but the bagel seasoning.
Okay.
So then it just gave it that little bit of and tiny bit of dressing.
Okay.
It
It
was
looked
delicious.
delicious. It really did look
Yeah.
delicious.
So I
Mhm.
was happy that I had 50% success.
You could go more than that because you got 100% on one,
Yes.
right? I
True.
mean, so the other one you're still working on.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. I want
All
to hear
right.
yours.
No, mine was good. I mean, honestly, so I have this sheet that I color in and I'm actually enjoying it. I'm loving it. I think it's great.
Can you
I
explain the sheet again?
Yeah, so I made I have a trifecta and my trifecta is an activity trifecta. And what that means is I color in a little square on my sheet when I hit my three things, which are stretching, doing an arm exercise and walking of any sort for any amount of time.
Okay.
And I love it. I really start to like it. However, I feel like I want to color in more faster. It's not getting done fast enough. So I feel
What
that's
are
why it's
you
taking me so long.
what are you loving about it?
Um, I love the satisfaction of coloring it. I love that I sit on the couch and I go, okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to color in. Oh no, I didn't color it in because I have to go do my stretching and I'll get up and then I'll do my stretching. I love that I'm looking at things going, okay, I can fit in my arm exercises right now so that that's done and then I can color in. I like the whole process.
Wow, what a switch. I
I
mean,
know.
just what, 2 weeks ago, you're like, I want to improve my relationship with exercise.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say I've improved my relationship with exercise quite yet, but I'm looking forward to doing my exercise because of this.
But that's a huge shift.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
Mhm.
kind of incredible.
Mhm. And I'm loving stretching so much.
Really,
Love it.
because
You know what else I like? This is so silly. So silly. And partially because we have a podcast and we have YouTube and all that. I love watching someone's video and liking it. Because I
mm,
feel like I'm making their day when they look at their numbers and they saw that number goes up. Because my day gets made when I see that our numbers go up for who listen to our podcast.
yeah,
So when I always pick a new video and I'm always like, oh, I can't wait to like this video at the end. And then even my daughter was like, you like every video. I'm like, I know because I feel like I'm making their day.
yeah.
Does that
So you're
sound
bringing
ridiculous?
happiness. No, you're bringing happiness to somebody else.
At least I'm hoping I am,
Of course you are.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the other part of this that makes me feel so good. Like I can't wait to find a new video to do on YouTube that I haven't liked already so that I can like them.
So you pick YouTube exercise activities.
I literally type in 7-minute arm with weights and then they all millions populate and I just scroll through and I just pick one and I do it. And then I do 10-minute stretches and then just pick one and go.
So when you do it, you like their video.
As soon as I'm done with it, I like their video.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
I feel like I'm making somebody's day.
Well, maybe that's the incentive that you needed.
Maybe.
Wow.
One the other day was only 41 and I was like, I want more people to to watch this one. Like it was so I don't know. I'm being silly, but anyway.
Wherever we can find our motivation,
Yeah.
it comes from different places in different ways. And I know you've been
Yeah.
struggling, so for you to find a way to feel motivated that's just incredible.
Yeah. I love it. And anybody who watches a YouTube video like it for that person because
Yeah.
it's important to them. It really makes their day. It makes my day anyway,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
hear what you're saying. Yeah, for
So
sure.
anyway. So I'll post a picture of my sevens chart that I'm coloring and we'll get it show you guys what I'm talking about.
I want to ask you a story about a picture that you posted on your I think it was Instagram or Facebook page. I
Okay.
know it's not really on the topic, but it made me laugh. So I just thought maybe it'll make
Oh
somebody else
boy.
laugh.
Which
You were
picture?
covered in flour.
Oh my gosh. I should, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
Oh.
Let me just say that. And the mess that it made was even worse. If,
So
yeah.
what happened?
I was making dinner and I went to reach for the flour and the lid, it's a Tupperware one. And the lid wasn't on and I grabbed it by the lid
Oh
and it
no.
hit my face, hit the floor. I mean,
Oh no.
everywhere. And then flour was actually in my eye, and which turned to like
Oh
glue.
gosh.
And then it was all over the kit, like to the bathroom because I ran to the bathroom to like get it out of my eye. Oh, it was a nightmare.
Sorry, I laughed at you. I'm so,
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't
No, my son,
know.
I screamed for my son to come down and take the picture. And he was like, "What did you do?" And then he started laughing. And then my husband came home and he's like, "Why is there flour everywhere?" I mean, it was everywhere.
Oh my gosh. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. So
I just thought we could use a little entertainment.
by the way, it was definitely me who put the flour back too.
Oh,
So I couldn't
so
even be mad at
you
anybody.
wanted to blame somebody else, but you
I
couldn't.
did. And I was like, no, this was me. I know it was me. I remember the last time I used it and I did this.
Wow.
So the
So,
picture's up there.
would you label yourself the messy one?
Not normally. I label myself the hate cooking. I hate cooking. What would that be?
Oh,
Reluctant, reluctant cooker, reluctant dinner maker. I don't even know what you would want to call it, but yeah, I hate it.
well, maybe we start with this topic with, I know you said you didn't have any, but I have some labels that I've heard about myself.
Yeah.
And
So
maybe it'll
I
inspire
can't
you.
wait. And I'm almost positive I have thousands of labels, but I couldn't come up with them. So I can't wait to hear. Go ahead. Start.
Okay, so I was the bossy one. Probably people still say that I'm bossy. And I don't want to ask you because I think I know what your answer is going to be. But people, because I'm like the oldest child, I'm like the take charge, responsible one. When I was little, and was remembering back to our first episode where I talked about my siblings were athletic and I was the smart one. Um, and I was the healthy one, which meant that I was chubby.
Oh,
Um, I was the moody one. I was
okay.
sensitive and I'm very particular, especially when it comes to cleaning. I have a story about a label that I was given that I don't know how to, still after 30 plus years, it's
You
like,
don't know how to let it go?
no, I don't know how to interpret it. So,
Oh, okay.
um, before I met my husband, my whole entire family met my husband. And my brother, I told you he's 11 and a half years younger than me. So he was 16, I think, at the time. He met my now husband and he said, "My sister's a feminist. Can you deal with that?" And when you think of a feminist, you think of like a person marching in the streets with,
Yeah.
like all the whole stereotypical thing. And as much as I'm like rah rah women, I don't consider myself a feminist necessarily. And it just I'm like, oh, am I a feminist? Am I not a feminist? I don't know. And then he had an opinion of me before he met me that I'm gonna be like, I don't know if you ever watched Cheers.
Can
So
you
there
hear
was,
me?
I can hear you.
Okay, because I keep getting broken up, so I apologize if
You're
I'm breaking
freezing.
up. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So he thought I was gonna be like that character Diane from Cheers. And he was like hoity-toity English major.
So is that what
And
he thought of a feminist was?
yeah, like just that impression that he had that I was going to
Okay.
be really particular and he was like, "Oh, I guess you're not that bad," when he met me. So it worked in my benefit, but it's just funny.
He did not say you're not that bad.
No, he thought I was something else because I'm just labeled as feminist.
Do you feel like you are?
In some degrees, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think everyone should have a choice of what they want to do, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman.
Do you think that makes you a feminist though?
Yeah, I want everybody to be treated fairly.
Okay. I agree with you. I just don't know if I would call that a feminist.
Yeah, I know. I think the definition has changed over the years.
Okay.
So maybe that's a discussion for another time, but
I would
that was
love to know
definitely
why your brother called you that.
because I was like rallying for people and I wanted things to be
So were
fair.
you
And
marching in the streets at that time?
no, I wasn't. I was homebound, but I was fighting my own little battles, so to speak.
Okay.
You
I
know,
think that's a compliment. Do you not think it is?
I think it is, but I think the way it was said was not a compliment.
Oh, so there's a way you say it or there's a tone to it.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, there
I've
is.
had,
You're right. I know. Yeah. There is definitely a way you can take something super simple and make it a positive or a negative.
what do you mean?
I was just thinking of saying somebody's very smart. That could make them feel very powerful and like very great about themselves, or it can also make them feel the opposite, like quote unquote a nerd.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it definitely matters on how you're interpreting it.
Did any labels come to mind for you?
No, not
What I
yet.
was, okay.
Not yet.
Uh,
Go.
Um, the other thing is I have had conversations with people where in their childhood they were given a nickname or called something cute, but it wasn't cute, like, oh, piggy or oinker or, something where it wasn't, I don't know. I don't know if they realized that how hurtful it would be, but um, that has lasted all these
Mhm.
years and they can't shake that.
Yep. I know a lot of people that have been given nicknames like that, and it's
Really?
sad. Yeah. 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 I know a lot of people that have been given nicknames that are then become, and some people embrace them, don't you think?
Mhm. Yeah.
Some people love them and they
Well,
they embrace them and you're thinking they don't really embrace them.
I don't know. I guess some nicknames are cute, but some are really insulting and they're meant to be cute, but they're really not. Like if
Yeah.
you call someone piggy, what are you saying? They are just eating too much, and then are you judging their food? And then they have to watch what they eat, and then they start eating in secret. I mean, there's a whole thing that goes with that, you know?
I know. It's sad. I told you this topic makes me sad.
It'll get better.
Okay.
Um,
This it
some of
does.
the some of the other labels that I was kind of thinking about was someone cuts you off in traffic, you call them a bad driver.
Yep.
Like
I thought of that one.
you're
By
like,
the
you're a
way,
crazy driver.
I call myself a bad driver.
You do?
I do because I'm not going to say I don't care, but I don't care about my car. I don't. It is not something that I care about. And if I bump something and I tag not another car or a human, but if I'm pumping gas and I open my car and whatever, if I run over the curb, whatever, it's a curb. I always call myself quote unquote a bad driver. I do.
But do you think that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy then?
Maybe because I did find that fact that labeling does become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Hmm.
Labeling, here was that what I wrote down. Labeling can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. They act as handcuffs that limit your potential. A
Wow,
label acts as handcuffs,
that's a really good visual.
isn't it?
Yes. Oh my God,
Yeah.
there's so many that I can think of because of that. Like
Well,
I have a black thumb. I always
oh,
say
yes.
that
My
becomes
mom
true
always
then.
says that. I always kill all love plants. She always says, but yeah, same thing. Yeah. And I'm opposite. I say I have a green thumb
Oh, okay. Okay.
in a way, but
Yeah.
whatever. What else?
Being late makes you a lazy person.
Yeah. And I don't agree with that one, by the way. That could be a
I
whole
don't
other
either.
topic for us because I know so many people that are late all the time and they are
Hmm.
not lazy people.
Yes.
I just call
Hello.
them, I just say, I don't know if this is a label, but I just say that they have poor time management skills.
Yes, I know.
It's not
My name is
laziness.
my name is Kamna and I'm a late person.
And you
Yes.
have poor time management skills.
Well, I just try to do too much. That's my problem.
Hmm.
I think
Yes.
90% of the people in my life know I will be 5 minutes late.
And
Still working on that call to action.
everybody in my life is always late. And I'm the opposite of that, 15 minutes early. So, what I thought was interesting about this topic when I looked it up is that I didn't never realize that our brains were literally created to label things. Since the time we were first born and learning to walk, everything has been labeled for our brain. And it does that to make it faster for us to process things.
Okay.
So when we do label something, whether it be a person, a thing, a yourself, whatever, it's doing its job. It needs to put
Hmm.
a label on it to make you process it faster. Do you know what I mean? And I thought
Yeah.
that was interesting. I really did. And it made me feel a little bit better about the labels that we give each other and we give other people, because that's what our brain's supposed to do. It doesn't mean it's a good thing, but that's what it's supposed to do.
Right. Like when you're a baby, you're like, where's your nose? Or where's your mom?
Yes.
Where's your
Right.
dad? Obviously, that you need to be able to identify or,
Yep.
yeah, where's your brother, sister? Yeah. Those are
Yes.
definitely labels.
I
Um,
also saw that labeling it helps if you are a all or nothing person. Labeling is perfect for you because that's exactly what labeling does. Is it's putting it in a black or a white category. And the reality is I'm a firm believer that the world is gray and there is no
mhm.
black and a white. So maybe that's also why this topic touches me in a different spot that really bothers me, is because labeling is literally it's this way or that way,
Yeah.
right? And there's so many values here. Like there may be sometimes when you're late that you can say you're lazy because maybe you really did oversleep and you were feeling lazy in that moment. But that's not a label to put on you forever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do actually. I was just talking about this with someone yesterday about how you might perceive somebody to be a certain way because they're quiet or they don't have much expression or they don't talk too much or maybe they're really loud. You create an impression in your mind, but most of the time that is false, especially with a
Mhm.
person who's quiet or like not as expressive. Doesn't mean they don't have emotions. It doesn't mean that I don't have a million things going on in their brain. They're
Right.
just not expressing it because that's
Yep.
what they have learned. So when you label somebody the quiet one, it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. Do you think though that sometimes it makes it better to do this is me going the opposite way and spinning it. Like I know some people that I'll say once you just know that that person's moody, you can just deal with them easier.
I
Do you
mean, I
think it is
guess,
also helpful to know? Do you think it's also helpful to label somebody and help deal with it then?
well, the problem is if you label somebody moody or angry or loud or whatever it
Sure.
is, you're missing, I believe, you're
Okay.
missing the main point of why they are moody or why are they anxious or why are they
Oh,
loud.
so you there's underlying things that we don't know.
I think we're gonna miss it if we put that label on them. And then
Interesting.
what happens is because they're labeled the moody one, they will always be moody because that's the box they're supposed to fit in.
Mm. Yeah.
So here's a definition I found. Labels can shape expectations that are set for other people, creating stereotypes. These stereotypes can result in unrealistic expectations or expecting less from someone despite what they are capable of. So you might be so smart, but if I label you a C student, you're never going to rise to the level that you could,
Yes. Yeah,
right?
I totally agree. It's the handcuffs. It's limiting
Hmm.
your potential.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you say you're not a good cook, you will never reach that place of being a good cook.
Right. I'll never try.
No.
I'll just won't try because I'm like, ugh, there's so many steps there and I suck at it anyway. I might as well not even do it.
Yes.
Right. Right.
So
It's going back to the handcuffs. Put in that
yes,
label, puts that handcuffs there.
and you keep walking down that road that you know, but it doesn't mean that that is your identity. So if we label ourselves with something, we don't have the ability to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just puts a cap on us. And then what if you had potential to become, I don't know, the best chef in the world, but you're
Look
labeling
at you
yourself as,
putting all this confidence in me. Yeah.
well, that's what it does, right? It builds confidence
Right.
when you take away the limits.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not good. I don't like the labels that people put on each other. And I
Yeah.
look around my house and I see that we all do it to each other, even in my
Yeah.
own family. Like, don't you in a way do it with your own family?
Well, I think less so with my kids, but I know in our family, my family growing up, I was the oldest and I was the bossy one, and my sister
Mhm.
was more pleasant and she liked to play and she was athletic one, and my brother was athletic and good looking, and like everybody had their definition. My
How
mom
about
was the party person and she was organized, and my dad
Mhm.
was like really good at all sports, and like so they had their own identity because of these definitions.
Yeah, same with and I think that's a great way to word it. We all have an identity because of these definitions, and it
Yeah.
might not even be our identity.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of art, like my daughter's the artistic one.
Yeah.
My son is the social one, the outgoing one. Like, like there's all those type of labels that aren't really fair.
But on the flip side, it can give you confidence for something.
Yes.
So if he's the social one, he might say, "Don't worry, mom, I got this. We're gonna like I'll go talk to these people." It might give him confidence, or your daughter creating our logo or beautiful artwork
Hmm.
for us. I mean, it just gives her extra confidence in that area.
Yep. It's like I think we have to call them different things, strengths.
Mm, yes.
Maybe that's what we need to work on
Yes, that it's not
is
limiting.
these are your strengths. I love that your strength is this instead of just saying you're the outgoing one. I love that you're so strong in being outgoing or whatever, however you would word that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like one of your gifts is fill in the blank,
Yeah,
but it's not limiting then.
right. Right. I actually read an article on the word addict because they say that's a label that we give people all the time. And they said the psychologists that are in the field of addiction really hate that word. They said it putting a label on, and then they feel like just by that label, by saying that they are an addict, they automatically are in this hole and it's hard to dig themselves out of.
Yeah,
So they really are trying to structure that word and removing that word from the vocabulary. It's a
it makes sense.
and I forget what they're trying to say is like a person who's dealing with something. I can't remember. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't. But it does make sense. It does.
Yeah. I know I've had, it's kind of a funny story, but someone said to me, "You're Indian, you should be good at math. Why are you not?" You
That is
know, like,
that is a label. That is a, what?
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like, just
a
because I'm out
label
of
that
practice.
then becomes a stereotype that then becomes
Yes,
something that you either feel good about yourself with or bad about yourself with.
right.
Or on the opposite, you might even say to yourself, well, I'm Indian. I should be good at math.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yep.
Like it's
I'm
that
like, she's kind
horrible
of right. Maybe I should.
cycle. Right. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
horrible cycle. And we just sometimes, this is what I'm thinking. For me personally, I need to just take a step back and say, is this label true? Because if
Uh,
it's true, then it doesn't have to be a label. It's just
mhm,
a description of me.
right.
It's
But
just
that's,
a
I
fact.
think that question is hard to answer when you have believed that label for so many years
Yeah.
and it's pushed you in a certain direction. If you're saying, "I'm not good at this," or "I will never lose weight," or "I will never be able to accomplish this," or I can't start a career now, I'm 54 years old." Like there are things that limit us in our mind because we have this belief that, okay, this is it. This is the box I'm supposed to stay in.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. We do that. We all do that though. I think everybody is guilty of it.
I have a few more negative labels that I found, which I thought were good, because these are like very common that we say to about
Okay.
ourselves, or maybe people say it about us, maybe not to our face, but they do say
Okay.
it. Loser,
Yes.
lazy,
Mm-hmm.
stupid,
Mm-hmm.
selfish,
Yes. I'm checking them off for the ones I wrote and that we have together. Go on.
ugly,
Okay.
criminal.
Oh, interesting
a-
one.
Addict was on my list also, and
Okay.
fat, fat and weak.
Yep, I have both of those too, fat and weak. But I have also black sheep.
Oh, oh, that's a deep one. Like if you're
I've
labeled
heard
the black sheep, but yeah,
of your friends, your family, like that's one that sticks with you forever.
yeah,
I'm the black sheep of the family. You know what I mean? Like
yep. Then you will fulfill that.
you will. Absolutely you will fulfill. A quitter. I'm the one that I would like a that's one too.
Yeah,
Um and then introvert and extrovert, depending on how you look at it, I had on there. Are both
yeah.
ones.
And the problem is if you the labels that hurt the most or stick the most for the longest time are the ones that are said by your family or
Mhm.
really close friends, someone that like those labels stick for a long time
Mhm.
because you
However,
think that those people
yeah.
know you, but they don't, maybe.
Yeah. And however, we all have that one label that we probably have had that one person said to us that we have
Hmm.
never been able to shake.
Yes.
One person sometimes is all it takes, and you
Yeah.
just it sticks with you forever. Maybe somebody laughed after they said it, and it's enough to leave that imprint in your brain, and it's so hard to get over. It
Hmm.
is.
Yeah.
And that's the
You
hard
don't
part.
you don't forget those. And the labels from childhood might affect our future potential and how we see ourselves.
Hmm.
And that
Yep.
makes me sad to think about a kid who's like, well, I'm whatever, like I'm not an athlete or I'm not good at math or and then they get stuck in that when potentially they just need the right exposure or the right opportunity to show what they can do.
Hmm. Yeah. Honestly, the school's very guilty of labeling kids.
You think so?
It's the school system itself, yeah. And I don't know a way to get around that when it comes to things,
Mm,
but they do that. You know what I mean? Like only
yeah.
the kids' artwork that's really good gets put in the hallway up on the board. Like so therefore you're internalizing that as a child is like, oh, I want my art to be up there, but I'm not that good. Those are the arty kids
Right.
immediately, right? Like, I will tell you personally, like my daughter, when she was in third grade, was identified as quote unquote gifted. And I remember when they told us this, I freaked out about it and I was like, not happy. I was like, let's have a conversation. I had pulled in like 4 people and had a meeting. And I was like, you're going to put this label on this kid right now. This is not a good label to put on anybody. It's
Yeah.
just not. And when you look at it from their peer standpoint or from your own, her sibling standpoint, now we're putting this label on this person that has to go with them forever. So whenever she gets A minus, she automatically feels she's no longer quote unquote in that category, in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
have
a
the flip side experience.
okay, tell me.
So, my youngest, I think it was my youngest, he had one of his teachers when they were deciding to test or not. She didn't think that he was allowed to be tested to be gifted. And I was like, well, what's your reasoning? And she said, well, he's not turning in his homework. I go, that's not a reason. And I remember having a meeting with the teacher and the principal saying, you need to give me a better reason of why he shouldn't be tested because I think he should be tested.
Hmm.
Uh, like she labeled him as
Yeah. La-
unable or whatever the
Unable,
word.
yeah, lazy or not academically smart enough or all of these. It's teachers do it. And I'm just going to say
Mhm.
it because I don't think there's a way around it for a lot of them. I don't know how
Yeah,
you could get around it.
I think it's partly human nature to label, like you said in the
Yeah.
beginning, that we just label as a way to sort of quickly identify. But if you're talking about particularly children or someone who's trying something new, then it limits their ability. And that's the sad part.
Hmm. And then the other kids see it too. They know that you labeled that person this.
Yes.
The talkative one in class. Guess what they're going to do if you call them the talkative one? They're going to talk
Yes.
even more, right?
Yes. Yep.
The messy one, the unorganized one. Guess what they're going to do more? You already
Yes.
told them what they are, and they have to live up to that. Like,
Yep.
it's a bummer though.
I think we have the same list of questions that we should ask to get
I
out of
can't. Okay, yes. Go
the
ahead.
stigma of labels, right? Like
Yes.
if we want to get rid of that label, what should we ask ourselves? And the first one you already said was, is this label true?
Yep.
And
That's a
was
deep
this
one.
label ever true?
But yeah, let me go back to that first one. Like when you're looking at it as like, is that label true? When it's yourself, you need to really dig deep and say, is this true? But you
Hmm.
also should be doing that when you catch yourself labeling other people
Yes.
and say, is it really true? Are they really that way? Or was it just twice they did it? Like, I really
Right.
like that question as a general for this topic. Okay, sorry. Second one.
Was it ever true?
Mhm.
If it was true for a moment, does that make it a general rule? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is on your,
My third one,
hmm
who told you it? That's what you have too?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who gave you that label?
And I think that's a really good one to explore because if someone was joking or they said something to either be a smart aleck or funny,
What if you gave it to yourself?
well, I don't believe it originates from you. I
Oh,
think it
that's interesting.
originates from someone else and then you perpetuate it like it's your own thought.
Really?
That's my belief and my experience with people.
Okay, so now I need to think about that more. Okay. Because let me go back to the cooking. I hate cooking.
Hmm.
I think I gave myself that one though.
But if you were to really think about it, you have to figure out where that came from.
Hmm.
If
Okay.
you say, I hate cooking, I'm not a good cook, where did that originate from? What did somebody tell you that? Or was it something that you just heard that you internalized? I don't
Hmm.
know.
Okay. Interesting.
And then the next one, which I like this one, is this label actually negative or was I told it was negative?
Hmm.
And
I
this
like
one for
that
me
question.
resonated because I always believed being sensitive was a negative quality in me, but I have come to see it as my superpower.
Hmm. I thought of that I thought that same thing when I wrote that question down because I thought of you with emotional too. Like that's
Hmm.
not a negative thing. And people say that.
Hmm. Yes.
It's not
Yes.
negative. And if somebody calls us a boy or a man, oh, you're so sensitive. Why is that negative?
Yeah, I don't know.
But they label my husband will be like, oh God, this guy is so sensitive. Why is that bad?
I don't see why that's bad.
I know, but they do.
Hmm.
Okay, go ahead. The next one you wrote down.
You go.
I wrote down, is it serving or harming me?
That's a really good question to ask because if someone says to you, you're not good at this or you're a loser, that's not serving you. Or if you're good at art, maybe that is serving you. Like you have to
Right.
decide which way it
Mhm.
is. And then the last question that I had was, who would I be without this label?
I like that one too. That one's a
Me
fun
too.
one.
Yes.
I like that because it's almost like that episode we talked about, play the other side of the story. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so if I did love cooking, what would it look like?
Yes.
Like, let's make that happen and see what it would look like.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Who would I be without this label?
Mm-hmm.
I love that
It's a
question so much.
powerful one because if you say I'm an anxious person, and that's your label, let's ask yourself, who would you be without that label?
Mm-hmm.
How would you be different? How would you feel? What would that look like? Or if you were on time, if you were a punctual person, what would that look like?
It
And
would
you
be
might be
less
like my
stressful for
sister.
me.
Or my sister who's opposite and be like, if I'm bored, if I'm on time somewhere, I'm there before everybody else and I'm bored and it might not be
Mhm.
a good thing. So it's interesting to really think about that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. This is a definitely a thinker of a topic, but
Yes.
I like that we have the potential to be something different.
Hmm. I actually like, more importantly, that this topic brought up the thought of labels on everywhere. Like everyone has labels that they're dealing with.
Hmm.
Everyone.
Hmm. Yeah.
And we label our kids, our grandkids, our aunts, and our uncles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we all have these family members that we label as this and this and this and
And
this.
that's the crazy one in our family.
The crazy one. We have the cheap one. We have the fun one. We have the party planner one. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yep.
and I don't think they're all bad. I don't think labels are all bad.
No, they aren't. Just as long as they don't limit you.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have a call to action this week?
Let's hear yours first. Maybe I'll
All
be
right.
inspired.
So told you before we started that I'm going big this week. I'm going big,
Hmm.
meaning keep saying to myself, I'm over 40, so I can't lose weight anymore. This is this
Hmm.
label. I'm old and I can't lose weight anymore. And that is the story I'm telling myself. That is the label I'm saying, is I'm old when it comes to the weight loss part of this. So I said, I want to lose one whole pound, a whole pound. And now I'm pausing because I know it can be done,
But
but do I want to do the work to do the call to action? Do you know what I mean? Like,
mm,
there's all that mumbo jumbo in there, but I'm going for it.
okay. Okay, to go deep for just like a second.
Hmm.
So you have doubt because you have an idea that either you're too old or you're not capable or it's too much work. So you're limiting yourself and your belief that you are
Hmm.
capable of doing what you want to do.
Correct. Absolutely, I am. So that's where I'm going to change my wording this week. And I'm going to really, really focus on saying, like, I'm not too old. I see
Hmm.
so many fitness and, influencers out there that are older than me that look fabulous and do it. And I can do
Hmm.
it too.
I like it.
Yes. So we'll see. However, the hard part will be when we come back for the next podcast. Will it be a week? Because
Almost
then
a week.
I'll, okay. All right, then. This should be okay then. Because if we're
Yeah.
recording again in 2 days, then that is not enough time for me to lose a pound. I'm just saying. So,
That's
all
fair.
right. So go ahead.
You
What is
can
yours?
prorate it for the days.
Okay, good.
So mine is really going to be a continuation from last week is I want to rotate my desk and the label that I'm going to try to remove is that I'm weak, that I can't do it by myself.
I love this
Hmm.
so much, so much, so much.
It seems so silly, but it's
You
overwhelming to
keep
me.
saying in your head that you need your husband to do it, and you don't.
No. Well, because it becomes a discussion that I don't really want to have.
You know what? First of all, you're going to be like, I did this once you do it.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what you need.
Yes. That I'm capable and I'm not weak.
You're absolutely capable and you're not weak, and you don't need anybody to do it.
Yeah. So that's my call to action this week.
I actually think,
Maybe I will stage it. So like I'll clear everything off in piles and put it on the floor.
mhm.
And then I'll move like a little, I'll unplug everything and then I'll move it a little, like
I want
maybe
to
I'll,
say, I just have to say this. I really don't think that you're using your husband. I think he's just the excuse. I think you don't want
Mhm.
to do the work of cleaning it off.
Yes, this is
I
true.
truly, truly believe that that's what it is. Because I know you can move this desk. I know you can. But it's just easier for you to say, well, seen him, my husband, and it's too hard to coordinate with him to get him in here to do it. And then there's a whole discussion. That has nothing to do with any of this. You don't
Way
want
to
to
call me
clean the
out.
desk. I'm sorry. You don't want to.
It's gonna be good. I'm gonna get it done by the time we record. I'm gonna get it done.
I cannot wait.
And I'm
You
gonna
know,
hang the sign on the wall.
mine is right there. I'm gonna do that too. That's not my call to action this week because I'm still trying to figure out if I need a new room for recording. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's okay.
Or else, can I get one of those fancy lights that says recording and I flip it on my front porch?
You
That's what I
should.
want. And now
You
when the light's
should.
on, all the neighbor kids will know David can't play because his mom's recording. That's what
I
I'm
love
gonna tell
it.
my
I
husband
love
I
it.
want. I love it too. So All right, Kamna, well, you have fun this week.
Thank you too.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.